Okay, don't worry about that. We good with that. I'm good with that. Yes, sir.
What a week,
Man,
huh?
what a week. What a week. And it's so crazy because we were just at Canarsie last night.
I know.
And then
It's
this news
unbelievable.
broke, right? Just like bam. And my phone, let me tell you, my phone was going off all day.
Wow.
It was going off all day, man. And, you know, if you look down the timeline, this thing is going viral, which it should have. You
Yeah.
know, just bringing attention to this. But you know, it is what it is in this world that we live in, and now we get to do our part, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
There you go. So with saying that, welcome, welcome, welcome to High School Basketball Weekly. I am your host, Glenn Poole Harding, here with my co-host.
Brian Reichert.
Tonight's show is a call for action to bring attention to the senseless violence, man. Like, we gotta stop the violence.
Oh yeah.
Seriously. You know, this senseless shooting of one of our New York City high school basketball players, Nana Duncor of Far Rockaway High School. I recently spoke to my childhood friend, Canarsie head coach Jake Edwards, who told me that this young man was a great kid, or is a great kid, because he's still with us. Thank God for that. He said that Nate played for him last year, and just to get more time and be in a better situation for himself, he transferred to Far Rockaway, which is all good. But with that fortunate shooting that he was involved in Sunday, man, has gotten New York City, very upset, and a call for action needs to be put out tonight, and we're gonna lead the charge on that. So I want to thank everybody in New York City, the whole basketball family, all our basketball heads, all the high school basketball weekly people, all the people across the board, man. I just want to say thank you to all the activists, to all the people that's standing up for what's right. I want to thank you for showing the love for the Nade today. So tonight, we want to show our support, wish this young man a speedy recovery, and prayers out for the family. Tonight, we have three guests joining us for a discussion on the situation and the gun violence that's plaguing not only our city, but all over the country.
Yeah.
Each of our guests will have their own segment, so give everybody their fair time. Our first guest is a community activist, Jamila Rose. After that, we're gonna have the founder of Guns for Grants, Rashid Littlejohn, and finally, last guest, we will have the voice of Coney Island, my guy Michael DeVoice Washington, who initially hit me up saying we should go visit this young man and support him in the hospital. So with saying that, let's start the show. Yes, sir. Yeah, man, it's so crazy, right? Because we're looking at all these athletes in our intro, and knowing that it could have happened to any one of those kids, man.
Yeah, and it's not the first time that our athletes have been affected by gun violence. I mean, just in my few years in the city, I've had multiple kids that I've covered, written about, that have, gotten affected by this, even shot. And it's just unbelievable. It's crazy to even think about. It's something that, I almost didn't even really think about as a kid around these guys' age. And it's something that they got to put up with. And I can't imagine how tough it is. It's wild.
Man, we have Brandon Hendricks in 2020,
Right?
right? 17-year-old. Shimei Roman, the 17-year-old female basketball player, right? I don't want to say female, but yes, female basketball player, right? She was shot, mistaken identity, right? Amira McLeod, and so many others, like you said. But
Yeah,
just in the recent
Tariq
years, it's
Foster, Dior Davis. I
there
mean,
you go. That's
couple
right.
kids that were just in the PSAL and Catholic League a couple years ago. It's
That's right. The kid from St. Ray's, right?
mm,
Yeah, man.
yeah, or Hayes from Hayes. He was at Hayes. Crazy.
No, it was a kid from St. Ray's as well that
Yeah,
got
I think
killed.
another. You're right. I think another kid from Ray's. You're right. You're right.
Yep, 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 yep.
It's wild, man. It's too many. It's too many. It's too frequent, and I'm really glad that we got some amazing people to talk about it because it's difficult for me. It's tough. It's crazy that children have to deal with this.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna make sure I say this name right. It's Maya Shea Pumpkin Hubbard. She has a program called Both Sides of Balance. I just want to give it a shout out, right? Because it's two sides that I see affected, right? You
Yeah,
got the victim, and then the victim's family. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So, yeah, I'm waiting for our first guest. She looked like she just disappeared on us. She was holding tight. Uh, but yeah, it's just a sad situation, man. And you know,
Especially like at the time and too, Pooh, like it's an exciting time. We've been waiting for basketball for so long, and we're finally here, and so many positive things are happening. And instead of highlighting a lot of kids, we're gonna talk about this big problem that needs attention. And it's taken away from the kids even more, and it's just something that we got to address. And hopefully, like we said, the people we have on tonight are going to be amazing and really shed some light on how we could kind of help and do things to get things going in the right direction, because it's really going in the wrong direction right now.
well, that's a great segue, man. So I'm gonna bring on our first guest, Jamila Rose. She runs the Instagram, Epiphany Amora. I want to say that's the right. Is that right? Right?
Hello, everyone. Epiphany and more. Yes,
There
yes,
you
yes. I'm
go. There you
so
go.
happy to be here, guys. Thank you so much. As you guys were speaking in the background, I'm sitting in the background and I'm like, I can't wait to jump on this call. As a community activist, a former candidate for city council,
Yeah.
a grant writer, and someone who's been in the trenches running 501c3s and now running my own. A proud project baby. I call myself a proud project baby with an MBA. Your nature girl. I understand that within just the nature buildings, there's codes, there's territories, and there's rules. And it's unfortunate that even in the beautiful game of sports, we have a degree of separation with projects that are right there. And the reason why I'm saying that is because those buildings host so many great talent, people with so much potential. And we see it through sports, we see it through music, right? We hear it through the music, through the culture, through the clothing. And now we're here. And this is seems to be a never ending situation with our young people. And again, as a grant writer, as somebody with 10 toes down in the ground, I'm always thinking, what ways, what solutions can we impose, not just on the city, not just on the public officials, but our neighbors, ourselves, to really bring these back in the days solutions that used to really work and we used to thrive on them. It seems like, our city is just operating on, NYPD and, other security, but we need to go back to policing ourselves. We need to go back to setting our own tone for our own communities and really put programs in place. So people, many 501s, they're doing great. I could name a few that are actually doing the work. Like you guys were out there, we're doing the work, but so much more has to be done. And I feel, the government is also is responsible for allocating dollars to programs that are really pushing to cure violence, creating programs, not just your ordinary education status, but vocational training, things that really get these kids into a craft, into longevity, something that's tangible for them in the future. And it starts with implementing these programs to really get them off the streets. I would like to think there's more good people in the world than not, and our young people are lost. And it's our responsibility, as a community, to take some of that accountability and say, okay, we know the problem. What are the solutions?
That's what I say. That's Ella. I say that all the time, right? Because everyone wants to talk about the problems, but
Yes.
giving kids no solutions. And I talk to kids every day. I'm actually a dean of a high school, and when you
Wow,
talk to kids,
amazing.
it's like, what else is there for us to do? I'm not into basketball. Like that's what you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not into basketball. That's what you do, and that's all cool, But what is there for me to do?
Exactly.
So we have to kind of tap in to those other kids, right? Those kids that adults sometimes are afraid to talk to, right?
Yes.
Because I hear it from the older guys, like, man, Shorty, I ain't got time for Shorty, man. Shorty ain't gonna listen. He ain't
Yes.
gonna listen to you.
Right.
There's somebody he'll listen to.
Right.
So we have to get somebody of his elk or his cloth that made it out that situation that can show him, look, there's other options. Because as you and I know, there's a lot of programs out there who are guys who just came home from jail, who been in the streets, who turned their life around, and can show kids there's another way out.
And I think the most important thing, Pooh, like you said, is we know that these programs exist. We know that these men and women, they come out and they saying, you don't want to repeat my steps. And that's always a plus. So we have to really focus on strategic partnerships. I think more 501s, community leaders, community faith-based programs have to come together as a coalition and really step up a plan that we can all be a part of instead of these individual plans that really are not working as much as they would like to think, right? So of course there's so much stuff happening in New York City. I'm from Brooklyn. My heart goes out to this young man's family, his friends, especially, God forbid, if he stays paralyzed. That's super unfortunate. But just to hear him say, if the person just says sorry to me, that shows that he comes from a family that they're really, like, they're pressed on faith. And and we must remember that. We must remember that we have to be a country that has faith and not just give up, and create hope and change, but not hope and change blindly, but hope and change by action. So this call of action, this call, and I know the other two people coming on after me, these are other great community leaders. And just knowing the work that they do with the work that you guys are doing and creating this awareness, there is something that we can do to really cure this violence or bring it down a notch. And I strongly believe it starts with community policing our own neighborhoods, not just by micromanaging, but by implementing programs that these kids need and want. It can't just be what we want. It has to be things that are of interest of them. What is their why? Where are they going? What do we need to do? Our elders, they're at risk because if we have the youth out here terrorizing people, I would like to think that these kids most I
That's all right. She's in Puerto Rico, y'all, so y'all gotta forgive her.
no,
She,
there we
she
go.
while
We
we
we got
freezing,
you.
out here in New York, she's in nice Puerto Rico, living it up.
I'm in Puerto Rico. Yes, I'm in Puerto Rico. And being here too, I'm learning what's missing over here because as beautiful as it is, and it's a great island, and I'm from here, I'm Puerto Rican and Arabic. There's a lot of work that needs to be done here, and the violence here is growing. So it's like this. It's so much happening all over, but I really believe it starts by a plan of working together. It can't be, 501 ABC over there is doing that, X, Y, and Z is doing that. And I like to say that I'm seeing more of that. I'm seeing more organizations coming together. We have to remember, it's my slogan for my campaign, but I live by it every single day. It has to be people over profits. We have to remember that the people come first and the profit comes later. So when we have a mix of people that are out there saying they're doing the work for the benefit of the dollar, it cuts us short on the people that really want to be out there. So people like us that really want to be out there, we need to remember it's about the people come together and put in work to really change the narrative for these young people. Because if not, we're going to have more, unfortunately, of what we're doing today and what we're seeing today, which is this 16-year-old suffering and his whole, future of basketball is at risk.
Yeah, and as you guys are from the community, I don't know when it started to happen, Pooh, and you guys can help touch on it too. And especially with adults. I don't know when it became of I'm proud that this kid is from my area to I like to hate on this kid that he's from my area. I just feel like people, especially the adults, used to protect the athletes, especially always used to hear, oh yeah, protect those basketball players or those football guys or those athletes or she's a great hooper. We don't bother her. You used to hear a lot of that, but I feel like
Yes.
that's kind of gone away in a lot of the community. And you see that with some people because it's definitely still there. But I also feel like there's such a hate and like it's so easy to just hate on a kid or hate on somebody and the level of embarrassment where people don't hold people accountable like you said. I think that was a fantastic point that you brought up. I mean, we see adults get escorted out of games all the time, and people don't say a word. It's like, it's embarrassing. I mean, when are we going to start saying stuff and holding people accountable, like you guys said? But I just think it starts with the adults, and I can't believe how much it's kind of tilted in that. We're proud of him to, what don't we like about the kid?
That's an excellent point. I believe one of the reasons for that is that our elders are giving up on our younger people. And it goes back to like, bringing the commodity, the grandmas, the aunts, the uncles, the OGs that will be like, hey, what you doing? You so and so son. You don't belong there. Now it's more like, I'm just going to mind my business. Where before community was really community. And we
Mm.
have to remember in that word community, that word unity exists. And we have to bring that back to really see change. And I agree with you. Like our adults and our elders, they're not as passionate about our young people as they used to be. So how do we bring back that passion to have a better tomorrow is really, one of the things that we have to, it's a battle. We have to fight this battle together as a collective because it's not going to just happen in a day. And again, there's many great leaders and many people like you guys that are out there and saying, what could we do to implement this change? And I know, the gentleman that's coming on after, he has a great program, like, the guns, bringing the guns back and providing tuition. I think that programs like that need extra funding. I have my program called
Yes. No,
training
yes.
future
Please,
leaders,
please,
you know?
please, please tell everybody about your program and where they can find it and how can they help to
Yeah.
Thank
to
you.
push your program.
Thank you. So my program is called Training Future Leaders, and it's dedicated really for vocational training. I go into the schools for the 5 through 12, and I do teach STEM and STEAM. But my main focus is at risk youth and adults between like at the highest 24. I do work with individuals formerly incarcerated, but that's a different program. The program that really emphasizes vocational training, it's for our youth. And I go into middle schools as early age as 13, really teaching them to be a carpenter, construction,
Yeah.
owning your own business, what it takes, because we have to fully understand that our kids, all kids, not everybody's going to sit in a classroom. I have a double master's degree. I cannot expect, Jennifer or, Matthew to want the same thing. But if we bring training that lasts, training that also helps them develop their own business, trainings that help them see a brighter tomorrow, keep them off the streets, these cornerstones were built for the at high risk youth from the ages of 12 to 15. That was one of the reasons why these cornerstones after schools were built, because that's the age where we can help them, we can lose them, they can make or break. And so these after school programs were developed for them. So we have to really work and emphasize and put in those programs that help them, because if we can do that, then we could have some reassurance to some degree that they'll be better when they're 16, 17, 18. This is not just me saying it, this is research that proves it. The at risk youth are between the ages of 12 and 15. So my program really dives into that. And with the elders and with people over the age of 24, I do vocational training as well from CDL classes. All classes are free, and your CDL leads to a job. You can drive the school bus, you can drive the UPS truck, whatever the case may be. Learning life skills while you learning work skills is essential, because we can't have one without the other. We need both. And it also includes parent participation. I think our parents tend to also give up, and the roles start to reverse. We have these young people running the homes. We have to bring back that parenting, or when two parents or one parent home, the mother's working, grandma's working, whatever the case may be, they don't have the time. And now this young boy or young girl, they think they running ship. And sometimes they are. They're holding down a household and forgetting to be children. So with my program, we offer wraparound services for everyone in the family. So we tailor the programs to fit the individuals that we're serving.
Mm.
Listen, well, I appreciate you so much for
I
coming on,
appreciate. I mean, I
Nana.
could be here with you guys forever, but I know y'all got other people. I'll be back.
Yeah, yeah. Come back on. We may do a wrap up at the end of the show. I
Yes,
just want to shout out my guy CK from upstate. He said for some it is picking up a ball, but for others a hammer, a wrench, and in
that's
terms
right.
of a trade, hitting the books hard. Right?
Thank you, my
Cool.
brother.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Salute to my guy
Exactly.
Mike Walker, best photographer in the game. He said, "Peace, Pooh Brian and Miss Rosie." He said, "Glad to see you all y'all addressing this gun violence issues
Thank
in our
you.
community for
Thank you,
sure."
brother. Thank you so much, guys.
All right, so
Thank you
take
for
it
coming
easy.
on.
We'll be in touch.
Thank
Listen,
you.
you got my
Listen,
number,
if
so
you
let's link
ever
up.
need a third person, I'm here. Let me know.
Got you, got you, got you.
All right, guys. Blessings.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
Wow. Look, B.
She hit on so many great points, man.
Yes,
So many great points.
yes.
And I love the fact that, she's calling out that people need to hold each other accountable, starts with the adults. And, the vocation thing is another great platform, for kids to really excel. You don't have to go into major debt, going to colleges, you get working right away. And listen, of course it's not glamorous, but this is what life is, it's sometimes you need that job, right, Pooh? And it leads to something great.
That is not.
Pension, and you're out of there early.
This is not glamorous at all. Look, life is what you make it, right?
Correct.
I forgot the artist who made that song, but somebody come up with it. Life is what you make it, oh darling. But look, you know, but on a serious note, this young man was doing the right thing. Was not into any situations. I think he was coming from church, going home, and got caught up into a bad situation. So again, this is a sad situation, but
Is that all
hopefully
you've
we
kind of
can
heard
bring
on
light.
the situation, Pooh? Like how he kind of got in that situation?
Yes, yes. So, did you see the video?
No, I don't know much about
All
this.
right, so check
I
it out.
keep getting
This is a
messages
great
saying,
segue. Then we're gonna bring on my guy Rashid. All
mm.
right, check it out. This is the real baby.
If it doesn't get better, then most likely I may not be able to play again. That's gonna hurt.
16-year-old Nana Duncor, a high school basketball player who attends Far Rockaway High School in Queens, has a stray bullet lodged in his spine after being shot at a Brooklyn bus stop Sunday.
As we was waiting for a bus, some kid that looked very familiar to me came up to me, tapped me. He says, "Oh, what's up, Nana? How you doing?" I said, "Oh, what's up?" Gave him a dap.
The high school junior says 3 teens in masks then came out of nowhere.
They let out their gun, and I heard the cockback sound of the gun. And I tried to take off, and I guess I was hit with a stray bullet.
Police say it happened near East 16th Street and Avenue J in Midwood. Duncor was not the intended target. He's been at Maimonides Medical Center since, with loved ones by his bedside. Duncor has some words for the person who pulled the trigger.
I would just want him to apologize to me for what he did. And, he's a kid just like me, and I pray he lives his future and has a good life ahead of him, too.
Damn.
And did they have suspects at the time or no?
Not at all. But
Okay.
first of all, that powerful message at the end that this young man said, right? There was no revenge. There was no I need to get my get back.
And right away too, like when it just happened is beyond. I mean, that's just a special kid right there for to have that mentality and to be that, kind to someone who has basically taken away a huge part of his life.
Listen, everybody who know me, they know I run, with my team. We run a very successful basketball tournament in the middle of the housing projects here in Brevoort. And I tell people, if you do something to one of these kids, I am telling the police. I'm not a street dude. I don't claim to be one. But if you hurt one of our babies, you're going to jail.
That's where we draw the line. You can't mess with the kids, man. I say it all the time, and it goes from athletes. Leave the kids alone, man. They got nothing to do with this crap.
Well, listen, I'm bringing our next guest, man, and I'll tell the story once he gets up here. Our next guest, the founder of Guns for Grants, my guy, Rashid Luda-John. What's up, Rob?
Hey, peace and love. How y'all feeling today?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well under the circumstances, man. Under the circumstances, but I'm glad we were able to have you on tonight to talk about this unfortunate situation. This young man, Nana Duncor, who was shot on Sunday and may never play basketball again. His hopes was, as you can see in the video, his hopes was high, right? Even in the situation. And also, he didn't wish any harm or any bad on the young man who did that unfortunate situation to him. What are your thoughts on that? And I know when I sent it to you, you kind of didn't know what was happening. Then you saw it, you was like, you know what? I'm on tonight.
Yeah, man. I be trying to do my social media detoxing. When you in this space, it's trauma all the time. So sometimes you got to get away from it, right? And so when you brought it to me, I play ball. I went to Buff State College. I was a high school phenom. So, I often talk to my guys and I'm like, yo, these kids could have been us in so many of these situations. So, I'm thankful that we still here, but there's a reality to address amongst a generation that are losing so many young kids. It wasn't normal for this when I was young, right? And I grew up in the middle of the crack era, but kids just dying all the time like this wasn't normalized, right? It was, and I guess that's when we come into the wave around to stop the violence, the, balls up, guns down movement, a lot of that coming out of the late 80s, early 90s,
Yeah.
because it wasn't normalized for kids to have guns, to be shooting, to be, dealing with stray bullets and, here's the baby getting shot. So to be 40 years coming out of the 80s and still dealing with this, it's concerning, to say the least. So when you brought it to my attention, it was like, let me look into this story. And I read that in an article, right? I read his words. I didn't even see the video. I read it and I was like, that's hard, that's commendable, right? To be that emotionally mature, to say, you know what, as long as I get an apology, I'm cool. I just wish him the best because he's a kid like me. That shows a level of empathy and understanding. And I would go a little bit further, that these kids know a little bit more than what we know about what's going on in their generation.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Listen.
Now, do you think that information and that access to kind of information has kind of led to maybe like what I was talking about with our last guest, that more of these the youth is kind of in that hater, and they kind of embrace that role instead of being like a supporter, or honestly, some guys are either way over the top or they honestly go into that like hater mode. You know what I mean?
Well, so what it is that, social media, smartphones has expanded exposure where kids don't live in a bubble. And I'm real critical on leadership. Okay, you got Republicans threatening Democrats threatening Republicans. You got Charlie Kirk getting shot in the neck. They're aware of violence, and if violence has been kind of normalized and hating on political parties, right? You got a mayor prior to Mandani coming in and saying, hey, could we calm down a little bit of this language and this jargon? And these are people just in politics for votes, So if I believe leadership is top down, right? You have to model the behavior that you want to see replicated. And if adults are hating, right, there's whole TV networks dedicated to hating on each other and fighting and chaos, right? We are in a reality TV, the Zeus TV era. It's well beyond World Star Hip Hop and Jerry Springer, right? Like, if it's all normalized chaos, how do we expect the kids to be better than the adults? And that to me it's we're not in the era of do as I say, not as I do. We're in the era of no, you need to show better leadership to normalize different ways to reduce conflicts. And if kids can watch Love and Hip Hop and see glass bottles being thrown around and girls throwing drinks in of it, and these are adults, then what does that say we want these kids to do when it comes to fighting, right? So, so the hating element, I would say, has been normalized, right? Haters are now villains, right? Haters now get record deals, right? I killed somebody, and there's are we talking about righteousness? And I could get into a whole bag when it comes to what are we actually rewarding, when it comes to some of this incentivized violence. So it's layers to it.
Nah, that's real right there. When kids don't see positive images on the screen of themselves, right? What is it there for them to emulate? And social media. And look, Rob was like, yo, I had to give myself some time off social media because there's so much trauma.
Yeah,
that's one of the reasons why I don't scroll. Like, a lot of times people ask me, yo, Pooh, did you see my post? Did you see my post? And because I post so much content, I can't be on my phone watching my phone. Well, for one, it's bad for my eyes, but two, I gotta skip past so much nonsense, right? That I don't want to even get into my system or my algorithm. Because remember, you watch it for a couple of seconds, it's in your algorithm. Yeah. It's like catching a cold.
And it's trauma porn, right? It's overexposure. So these things are set up to put more bad news in your face than good news, right? There's going to be scientific studies that come out in 20 years from now saying how we were a test bed generation that had psychological damage because we scrolled and was exposed to so much, right? We shouldn't see the things that we see now. Like this, I didn't see this stuff when I was a kid, right? You heard about stuff on the radio, on the TV, but now to be able to see live video of certain things, I think the desensitized, being desensitized, and also the monetization of violence, the commodification of violence, right? The drill music, the dedicated drill pages. Like, we ain't even getting to that level yet. So I'm jumping ahead, I'm sure, the conversation. But there's things to get to when you really put an honest lens on it to say, what are we rewarding? Who's actually the vanguard of morality and modeling proper behavior on a leadership level, and how do we want our kids to reflect that? Where, I mean, come on, you got nonprofits competing with other nonprofits for money, and that gets ugly. And we, like it.
Jamila was just saying that she was saying people need to collaborate more with with their nonprofits, right? More collaboration and less separation, which is crazy. Now, again, you look at a kid like Nene who was at the bus stop waiting for the bus, a dude who recognized him, you're a ball player, right? Says what's up, and then 3 other dudes rush him, right? Jamila also mentioned, like, back in the days, and you know this, Rob, the gangsters used to protect us. The dudes in the streets, like, nah, he a ball player.
All the time.
Right? I am a victim of that. Like, not say a victim, but a prodigy of that in the real way, where the original 50 Cent, I'm coming from a basketball game, short story. Coming from a basketball game, got my ball in my hand, got my ice in the other hand, and 50 Cent and this man pulled me over like, yo, Slim, come here. And I'm like, oh, man, I'm about to get robbed, because I've seen this happen. I've seen him in front of my eyes do this to people. And he wanted to congratulate me and compliment me on my game. He was like, yo, you nice. He said, yo, you nice with that rock, man. He said, yo, and did I know he was in the crowd watching? No, because you never know who's watching. He said, keep doing what you're doing, and don't be like those guys right there. And there's a group of guys not too far from us in the distance shooting dice.
Yep.
He said, wait right here. Now, of course, when he left, I wanted to leave, but he said, wait right there. I'm not going anywhere. He goes over, rob the dice game, look back and go, Slim, I told you they all suckers. Don't be like them. And blew my mind. And that right there was like, okay, another lesson from the streets, from numerous other street guys who showed me or told me going that way wasn't the route.
Whew. Okay, let me say this. Let's get deep, right? There was a moment in time where the community had to protect the childhood phenom because he was the way out, or the way to create opportunities that will come back.
Yeah.
So you had to protect that person, right? Oh, nah, and this is the one that's gonna go. And it's the Steph Marbury stories. Like, no, they're gonna go, they're gonna do it. Whether it was a basketball player, football player, individuals that was going off to college, right? Or the kid who got the job, the Calvin got the job at McDonald's. Like, there was and they out the way. Let's keep them out the way, because there was an aspect of, I guess, enough emotional clarity that we not gonna make it out. So let's not stop the person who can, right? And I could twofold that and say, how many people came back and actually helped, right? How many people actually come back to the neighborhood and help buy back the block, right? What's the point of saving somebody from the neighborhood if they're not coming back to the neighborhood once they leave? So we just stuck in here with the criminals, right? So
that's for real. That's real.
And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying that it's right that, we lose that love, but there is a reality of, we're banking on people to make it, to come back to a neighborhood that nobody cares about. And the journey that person has on them to make it, to come back, can get lost when individuals stop coming back. So then the idea of protecting individuals is like, nah, you hating because they ain't coming back. They're not creating no pathway. Me and my little homies, we call it pipeline of prosperity. Where's the pipeline that you're going to create to get more people out the neighborhood, or every generation, here's the next basketball kid, right? That's one aspect. The other aspect is, back in the day, there was a lot more street activity. So you had a lot more eyes. You had a lot more physical bodies that were outside, and there was a certain rule of engagement. It's bad business to have shootouts. It's bad business when a 3-year-old gets shot, because that stops the progress of the hustlers that they trying to get it. So the fact that there were certain bodies in street activity happening, there needed to be some type of what we would consider like order of operations, like rules of engagement, where certain things had to and did not have to. You know, I come from the era where you took the little homies that was the little too trigger happy to the rooftop and let them shoot at bottle caps, right? Or you took them to the vacant lot around the corner and pick a nab. Think about Brownsville, East New York, and you teaching them how to shoot. Why? Because you're killing a baby. Stop shooting wrong and holding a gun. So even though it's wrong, they still were trying to say, if you're going to be wrong a better way than just being out here being chaotic, because it's not good for business. Nowadays, you remove the street activity element, most of the OGs get locked up. The degree of separation happens where now OGs are 21 because he been banging since he was 12, right? He done joined the gang in middle school. So by the time he's 21, he's the OG of the set. The OGs in their 40s, 50s that might be detached to a whole new generation. So they not listening to them. Why? Because they ain't got no opportunities for them either. They can't give them a job, put no money in their pocket. It then creates a dynamic of young individuals who don't have street code, don't have street ethics, don't know how to involve themselves in criminality and only focus on criminal behavior amongst criminals, right? It's kids getting shot that have nothing to do with it. It's like, no, I'm gonna go get your man, even if he don't got nothing to do with it. So the fabric of what you would even say street code, with the amount of snitching that's happening, right? Where snitches is, you know, and again, you got to be honest about it all. Like, criminality is American, right? This country was stolen. And until our economic circumstances are changed, it's like trying to have church in the wild, right? There's no church in the wild. So if we're going to be in the wild, let's have some type of code of ethics for the individuals that want to partake in that, and at least keep it away from the individuals that's trying to find a way out, as we groom individuals to help the individuals that want to be wild, right? Because even those in the wild have to have tamers of the wildness, because you just can't be shooting up the Coliseum because they playing basketball and your team lost.
That's a fact.
Now, do you think that there's enough of like a kickback, enough of a penalty for when there is, you know, that element messing with people who aren't involved in that element? You know what I mean? Do you think that there's enough of a penalty, like you said, you know, a baby would get shot, right? The whole street would be shut down, right? The whole neighborhood would be shut down. There'd be no activity going on. Do you feel like that is kind of today, or do you feel like that is lost with the whole kind of desensitizing part?
Well, hold on. Let me before you say that, Rock. We had a situation like that 2 years ago. Our All-Star game was stopped, right? Like, because they was shooting outside of the complex. It wasn't inside the park. The fact that people heard the gunshots and ran, right? One of our commissioners and you know, the people in the fabric got together, found out in a day or two who did it. There was no revenge. They sat down and talked to these guys. And we never had those problems again, because the guys who really run the neighborhood and the gangsters that's really about that life, their kids play in our tournament.
Yep.
So they take that very serious. Now, again,
but that's community policing. That's being
right, and to get back, because what we teaching, if we go and shoot this kid, kill this kid, what's that teaching the kids? That's what it's good to do, because it's going to get back to them.
Well, you know, I'm a fan of The Wire, right? And there's this great episode of The Wire
I keep thinking about
where the grandmothers you try to kill homeboy when he with his grandmama on Sunday. Like, you took my great grandma hat off. Like, it was like, you don't do that on a Sunday.
Crown on
my
Sunday.
Grandma. Like, what's going on here, right? So we're so far beyond that, right? And again, Also, I mean, the entry level of gangsterism, right?
Yeah.
The maturity of it, like there has been a lapse when it comes to the code of ethics of individuals that want to involve themselves in criminality, right? If we take it to like rap era where Jay-Z, Biggie, Nas all kind of had like this Italian mafioso vibe with them. The Italian mob has a strict code. Like it's certain things that can't be done amongst the mafia, and that's involved in criminality. And there was an element that Black Americans or impoverished communities have, and at some points have somewhat somewhere that there's a code of ethics around certain things. But that is different than today, where a lot of the violence is centralized younger kids, right? And the biggest thing that bothers me when it comes to like this New York City gun shooting reports, where it's like gun violence is down. We just hit another record-breaking low of gun violence. What they're not telling you is, yeah, amongst the numbers it's down, but gun violence is rising amongst young people.
Yeah.
So the increase of young people dying is happening even if older people are not picking up gun shooting. So what that means is you need to focus on the younger kids that is out there without the code of ethics, without the street code, without the maturity, that just picked up a gun or getting ghost guns, drill music scene, because now we got to add the rap music. Like it. So we're talking about kids that may not even been cultured in street ethics to even know what it means. So
And you think that number's higher than ever? Youth with guns in New York City?
Completely.
Yeah.
I think we are in an epidemic when it comes to the accessibility of kids with firearms, and
Especially in New York, right? New York is a difficult place, apparently.
I mean, that's the iron pipeline. That's why I have issues with the NYPD, because if guns are legal, we should be able to know where all they are, where all of them are. Like, why is it that we can trace a pack of cocaine to Medellin, Colombia, right? And we could have mad drug snitches, but no gun snitches, right? Where's the gun snitch, right? We got people taking down entire crack or cocaine industries and know how to make sure we know about all of the drugs that's coming in the neighborhood, fentanyl coming from China, this, that, and the third, south of the border. We know where all this stuff is coming from, but guns that are manufactured in America, we don't know where and how they are making it to inner city kids in New York. Like, come on. Like, at some point, you're going to make me think this is a controlled opposition. You're going to make me think that this is like, guerrilla warfare, like how international war crimes happen, where, United States or other nations is supplying other individuals with guns to wreak havoc in communities with the amount of guns that these kids have. My example, Guns for Grants started because 14 kids in East New York got arrested for 8 guns on a party bus. They're on a party bus shooting a music video because of one of the kids' birthdays, but they got 8 guns. Mm-hmm. You got most people in America who have never been around 3 guns at one time, unless it's like collectors, or you may live in the South, and that's a part of like going to the back and shooting deer or hunting. 8 guns on a party bus in New York City. I've never been around 8 guns at one time in my life, and these are kids under 21. So nobody's gonna ask where these guns coming from, how they get in there, and who's the gun snitch, right? All these kids dying of firearm deaths. Who's the gun snitch, right? Yeah. You remember the movie back in the day, Strap, where it's talking about the white man driving from and coming to the hood and giving? Is that what's happening? And nobody's talking about the guys dropping the guns off in the hood? like at some point, a sensible person is gonna say, "How 16-year-old got a chopper? How these kids getting switches?
Thank you.
What's going on here? Who is facilitating the sale? And if the market is that black and low and underground, and that means that policing needs to be defunded because y'all doing a terrible job. So maybe we need to put more funding in individuals in the community who are going to sniff out where these guns are coming from, because the police don't seem to be stopping it.
Now, tell people about your program and what you guys are doing, because when we met during that clothes drive that you told me about your program, and I thought it was an amazing thing.
Yeah, I got a program called Guns for Grants, part of St. Francis College. It's actually college access program. Starting in 2021, 2022, had 8 firearms court confiscated on a party bus in East New York with a bunch of kids that I used to work with in the Bamas, be East New York, Bama, Unity Plaza. So when my kids got locked up, I had a lot of concern because the police came to my site and said, well, these kids is doing this to get a record deal. I said, well, if y'all know these kids doing this to get a record deal, when we gonna shut down the record industry? When we gonna protest the record labels that are incentivizing the idea that you need to put guns in a video to get a rap deal? Like, can we look at this whole thing? Right? Okay, coach, in order to get a record deal, you need to shoot 3-pointers. How many kids do you think will be outside at the park shooting all day?
Everybody.
So long story short, my kids got arrested. I made a lot of noise. The cop said that I caught a little bit of resistance because if y'all know that there's something about record labels and guns and kids and we have a hip hop police, then holla at the record industry. And at the same time, if y'all know that guns and music videos and incentivize violence is a concept, then we need to incentivize something else. So I literally said, so if I got kids to turn in a gun to me, would they be able to go to school? And that was a conversation I had with St. Francis that has a restorative justice program that supports individuals after they get locked up. So this program started with me trying to barter an opportunity for my kids who had already got arrested. But then I'm like, well, if this program is only available for kids or for young people after they get locked up,
go to jail first, right?
You got to go to jail first. So then what I did was I looked up the numbers, and in Rikers Island during COVID, because it's 21-22, it was $156,000 of funding that goes in the expenses of one person in Rikers Island for the year. $556,000 just to house one person in Rikers Island. One person. So I said, well, imagine if we could give this money to these kids before they get locked up. So I said, well, what is St. Francis tuition? $37,000. Did some math. So I said, well, what if we were to get kids that could give us guns? Could we get 20 kids in the St. Francis for the same price of one kid going to Rikers? Could we do that? And they said, yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. So we got MOU, created a whole situation. And it was me challenging the status quo. It was saying, hey, if we're going to put all this taxpayer dollars into keeping some person locked up, and you have a restorative justice program that only works after these kids get locked up, and we know New York City gun laws is they already committing a crime once they already got the gun before they get locked up, because we already know how our laws are around, your Second Amendment. It's tremendous when it comes to the amount of time that they throw at you, 3 to 5 years just for having a gun without a license, right? So that's basically how it happened. It was a conversation, me shaking the table, being introduced to St. Francis, saying the kids got to get locked up first. And I said, no, let me go to the kids first and see if they'd be willing to turn in a gun. How many slots would y'all give me? So every fall semester, I get 20 enrollment slots at St. Francis College for individuals that want to turn in an illegal firearm, ghost gun. It's fully anonymous. I don't got to give no information to the police. New York has amnesty laws, so it's basically like dropping a gun off at a church. I don't have to submit any information. QR code based. My main contact is the admissions department at the school. So when a kid wants to go to school, we arrange a drop-off location. I make sure the gun gets transferred safely, dropped off at the appropriate locations, and then I send the kid to college.
Hey, look, Ron, that's an awesome thing. If you want to stick around, I want to bring on our next guest, and then I want to do a wrap-up and bring all you guys back.
Also, I want to ask you, too, and I'm going to come back to this. How do we get that at every college in NYC? We need that at every college.
That's the goal.
Hold on to that answer. I'm going to bring on our next guest, and then we'll do a wrap-up, all right? Just stick around. I see you there, Jamela. I see you there. All right, we're going to bring on our next guest. He's the voice, man. That's what we call him. My guy, Michael the Voice Washington out of Coney Island, the voice of Coney Island. He DM'd me early in the morning and said that, yo, Pooh, we need to go to the hospital and visit this kid and show him some support. So without further ado, I want to bring on my guy, the voice, Mike Washington. Where you at, Mike? You're invisible. Yo, so crazy. Mighty Hawks on Instagram said PSAL need to order some T-shirts and put guns down and wear that before games, because he was a PSAL kid.
I would love that.
Yeah. Where you at, man? I don't see you. Watching the game? What you doing?
Sound like you under the train tracks.
Right. Where you at? Just let me know. I'm gonna bring you on. There you go. What up? What up? What up?
The voice.
Can you hear us?
I don't know. I don't think you can hear us, bro.
Let me see.
My man, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
I don't know if he can see us.
Yeah. Well, look, this is what we're gonna do until we can get him back on the show.
But Pooh, I got to tell you,
Go ahead.
hearing a story like that could happen to any kid in that situation. That's such a wild situation, and it's so great to hear from people who know way more about this stuff at least than I do. I know you're way more connected than I am in that regard, but I just can't believe how the numbers are so high. People aren't talking about it. Doesn't sound like a big focus.
You hear us? You hear us, Mike? Can you hear us?
I think you just took a snapshot, which is great.
Yeah.
Mike, you there?
Look, for those people who joined late, this is what we're having a discussion about. If you've been, under a rock somewhere, we're talking about Nana Duncor,
of Far Rock.
Far Rockaway last year. He played for Canarsie High School. And the fact that, you look at those words in front of the newspaper that says he has to stay strong, and also saying he just want apology from the assailants, right?
Yeah.
So, strong young brother. We want to say prayers out to the family,
especially
and also support to Nene, man.
Right after the incident, like so much maturity. Shout
Mike, can you hear us? Can you hear us? I can't hear you. He's just profiling. I can hear you. Say something. Say something. Talk.
Talk, Mike. Mike, you there? Talk. I don't know if his volume's up. He can't hear us, I guess.
Hold on.
Just staring.
You gotta make sure. All right, we're gonna try one more time. Mike, make sure your mic read your text message. We can hear you.
We can hear you, Mike.
He can't hear us.
No, I guess not.
Yo, Rob.
Yo.
He said it's on. We having problems with bringing Mike
on.
on.
Oh, man.
Hold on. Where you play at, Rob?
I'm at the Buff State.
No, I'm talking about high school. High school.
I went to Bushwick High School.
Oh, Bushwick High School.
Yeah. I was zone school, man. They got me bad.
I was about to say, word? Bushwick High School?
I wanted to go to Brooklyn Tech. I killed though. I was like lit. We went to the chip.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
We got you.
Yeah.
Yep. So when you sent me the story, basketball kids, man, like the movie Fresh. I remember that movie when a kid got shot in the park because it was nice. So, I'ma always be empathetic to that.
Yeah, it's a very, very sad situation, man. Mike, you hear us? Mike is struggling over there so bad.
My guy's just staring at us.
Yeah. So you and Jamela know each other, Ra.
I don't know what's
Y'all,
going on with my volume. I
I can
can't
hear
hear
you.
or I'm not getting any visual over here, so I don't
Yeah,
know.
I couldn't hear, but I can hear now.
Yeah, I can hear you. We can hear you. We
Yeah,
can
I
hear
can hear
you.
both you guys.
Yeah, we can hear everybody. We can hear him, but he can't hear us.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So, you know, just hold on for a second. Um, yeah, is Bushwick still open? Is it another
It's
school
a
now?
campus now. It's
Campus.
4 schools in it,
Gotcha.
and that's another issue. Like I launched a program in Bushwick in January because I'm addressing the elephant in the room. A lot of these multiple schools on one one school is creating issues where now you got 4 different schools in one building. And I've
Yeah,
been touching with these kids, and it's conflicts. It's this school
It
versus this
creates
school.
gang
This kid
mentality.
versus they treating these
yes,
different schools as gangs, right? I go to this school, you go to that school. My school's
yeah.
better than yours. So we launched a program in my high school in January to address like these 4 different schools and bringing these kids together a bit more to create culture, because I didn't have that. It was one school when I went to school.
Listen, they don't have that in Lincoln. They don't have
Yeah,
that. They don't
Lincoln
have.
is still Lincoln for
That's
now.
right. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Mhm.
Um, Charlotte, this is crazy that you said this, right? Because there's this book. I'm gonna bring it up right now. There's this book right here. It's called "The Deliberate Dumbing Down of America." All right. It was written by Charlotte Elizabeth. Put on the screen for people to see it. Right. It's called "The Deliberate Dumbing Down of America." This lady, yo, it's so crazy, right? She grew up in a Long Island town, in a Long Island township. Her family, hold on, let me see if I get a bigger picture of this. It's called The Deliberate Dumbing Down of America, right? She come from a Long Island township where, her parents were well off, right? And she got a chance to get an education. I forgot what school she went to. I remember if I could remember the name, it used to always come on commercials back in the days. Well, anyway, she went there, got her degree, whatever, and she went and worked for the Department of Education. And she was asking so much questions. Can you hear us, Mike?
Not working for me. But if you guys can hear me, like I said, you want to pray for these young kids that's out here these days. It's madness. We have to step up as being elders in the community, to watch over, the kids, that whether it's your kid or not. We have to join arms and forces to, you see some young kids in a group and they, looking a little rowdy, to pull them to the side, give them some good choice words, and just be positive, because a lot of these young guys, sometimes they don't have positivity coming out of their household. And, only thing the source of that positivity can be out in the streets. And that's some of us sometimes that they come in contact with. So I try to always be a constant positive figure in my community.
Yes, people probably calling him. I just want to give him that little time slot. But Mike is has a huge voice out there in Coney Island, and he's a mentor to a lot of kids. He's always at the high school games, supporting kids, his kids that play, and also kids that aren't his kids, right? But get back to that Charlotte Elizabeth book, the Deliberate Dumbing Down of America. She was asking so many questions. They put her down in the basement where all the files were, and this was in 1980.
Mm.
She was reading plans about how they was going to change up the education system in the future, like 30, 40 years in advance. And in her book, she said they talked about uh putting those schools inside of schools. This was going on like in the 70s and 80s. They had these plans. And if if y'all don't want to read it, buy the audio book and listen to it. It's a great listen. This lady, she was on point to everything that she was talking about in that book. So, and it's happening now. We see it. We're living it. You know what I'm saying? And it breeds gang culture. It breeds gang culture like crazy.
Culture, gang culture, separation. Every it seems like we all kind of on the same wave that we do understand. Community policing is important. I love what Rashid is doing as well. I really making politicians and the upper leadership accountable, and us as a whole, as people with 10 toes down to the ground, we have to also remember to confront people that are allocating the money to these non-for-profits. Like, we need to see numbers. Where are you doing the work? Because you're getting all this money. We have non-for-profits competing with one another, and the people that are actually doing the work, that really need the funding to get the staff and the materials and the resources that they need, they're not getting it. And we need to change that. We need to change the narrative and remember to put people over profits, because that's truly what it's about. As leaders, ultimately, we're on the same wave, that it's people first, profits later. And I'm actually gonna, if one of the listeners are, we get a listener up here, I will actually buy a book for someone who's interested. They just have to hit you up, Pooh, and I'll buy the book for them.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Appreciate
I
it.
will also add that the kids know the things that they need, right? Anytime you talk to these young people, they need a job. So
Yep.
let's help create job opportunities, right? Let's create internships. When you looking around, man, I'm not gonna hold y'all. There's so much scamming happening in this country.
Mm.
$1 billion scam here, $100 million scam here. These kids are aware of all the unfairness that's happening, so it's hard to tell them to do it the right way if other people are doing it the wrong way, right? It's hard to tell kids to go to school and do it this way, when no, you could get a record deal if you got a rumor that you shot somebody. Like, at what point, I have an analogy, right? My analogy is always, if I were to go to the mall and say I have $100 for every kid that wanted to walk around this mall and squeeze a lady's butt. And when I'm talking about kids, I'm talking like 14, 15, 16-year olds. How many $100 bills am I gonna be able to pass out in this mall before somebody pack me up out the mall? Right? Before it becomes, no, don't take his money. No, get me out the mall. Why am I in the mall giving kids $100 to walk around squeezing the butt for social media? It's like,
Yeah.
these record labels are incentivizing violence. These kids are getting record deals off of the concept that they killed somebody. The rumors that they came home from killing somebody and they're getting a deal. And the bad part about that is, because the violence lingers around them, because they got the street affiliations, they don't get the opportunity to get endorsements. They don't get the opportunity to go on tours around the country
Yes.
because they're a liability because of the danger that's supposed to be promoted around them. Think about these Brooklyn drill rappers. When they going on a national tour, they don't, because nobody's going to insure any venue that they go to because there's too much lingering violence around them. So now you done pigeonhole these kids with this idea of fame, put them in a bad record deal, all about incentivizing violence. So the biggest look they got is on a YouTube no jumper show or on an NY drill page. No endorsement deals, no access to future opportunities, no real equity in the art form, because y'all not looking to take these kids out of the real circumstance. Like, at some point we have to address the full-on consolidation around violent culture and black men and how it is commodified. Like, it is. And nobody's gonna say anything about it because everybody is making money around it. It's almost like the Diddy doc. Too many people are making money.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna say nothing about the craziness going on. These kids are dying.
And you know what we talked about earlier, Rashi, during this show? We talked about we need to find the solutions, right? And the solutions is one, strategic partnerships and aligning ourselves with like-minded people to formulate a plan that really sets the tone for new. Because what you're saying is like, truth to power, something that I continue to preach in my everyday. So we need more people like us on the line to say, let's come together, let's bring our resources, let's do community policing, and let's have people accountable. We have to put people up, put them accountable for their actions and really go in their face, like what you did with the, returning the guns for tuition. You have to fight for that. And that speaks high volumes of your work. And there's many other people out here doing that, but they just need partners. So I think if we bring back the unity in community, we could start with that. We need more voices like us on this call to really call for the action that we're striving for, that we're urging for. It's like we could do it, but we have to set the tone with the right people and the right plan. Because I mean, the problems are there. Is now it's time to do all the solution work, and I think that for the most part we're doing that. But we just need to bring more people out on these calls to shine a light on their work too, and see how together we can come in as one and say, you do this, I'll do that, and really create that change, because one man can't move a mountain, but many can if we formulate that team.
And let me say this, right? Cut the check. Like I
Okay.
have a program that gives kids an opportunity to go to college for turning in a gun. First in the
Mm-hmm.
nation. But you want to know what these kids talk to me about? How safe they're gonna feel after they turn in a gun. So when
Mm-hmm.
we've been doing raising funding for a building costs $11 million or $5 million. This New York City real estate, right? So now we got to deal with the fact that we create dope programs that are stuck out of locations that kids can be coming to consistently. Like, why do I have a dope program in St. Francis College and not an amazing headquarters that kids can come to see me every single day, right? At some point, we really need to look at the funding and the reality that I don't believe this system was set up to really solve the problem, because it's too much money in the problem, right? It's too many initiatives that you can run on the problem versus actually solving it completely. And like, if we were to ever take a field trip, I could take you to a community center in East New York right now, brand new facility, no kids are in it. Why?
Thank you.
Because it's ran by a nonprofit that's not culturally competent, that's not creating any community investment, that's not looking to hire directly in and for the community, that's not looking to raise up the next community, but it's like a nonprofit industrial complex, right? Coach, you do an amazing tournament in the summertime, but you should have a facility during the wintertime in an indoor gym with classrooms that I could be able to come into, or Jamila can come into, to teach these kids. So some
Mm-hmm.
of it is also the lack of infrastructure of the individuals from the community that are working with these kids. Why do we got to be a co-locator at a school that the school is already failing the kids? So these kids probably don't even want to be in this building if they're failing them, right? We need to create a different culture around a shared equity and I'm gonna be honest, ownership in the community for those individuals from the community. We don't own much in our community. We're being
No.
gentrified out of our community. So many things when it comes to AAU basketball has completely moved from the top phenoms in these kids. When's the last time we had a New York basketball phenom point guard that was going to the league? Because there's not a full investment.
Yeah.
And there's so many billions of dollars that could go to immigrant crisis, or could go to this crisis, could go to that. But it's like, but what about these kids? Like, they
Mm-hmm.
don't, like, we're in a system where it used to be a lot fun, a lot more opportunities for me when I was a kid. And it almost feels like nobody really cares about these kids anymore.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm glad we all came together tonight
Yes.
to talk about some solutions and what we could do. We know what the fight is. The fight is against us, right? Rashid, you talk about so many different things uh, about policies and government who are against the betterment of people here in the cities, right? I just mentioned a book about how they, trapping the kids in the education system. You want to talk about the music industry. That started with that letter, the conspiracy that happened in 2012, right? So, right, and the dropping off of guns and things and drugs in our community. This is stuff that's been going on. So I think instead of trying to change the system, We have to build pockets of islands of excellence, right? We have to bring pockets of excellence to where we can, make change in small pockets, and maybe that will create change in others, and build that circle to where we build that change in a small group of kids. Maybe that will filter to other kids, right? Because we're not going to be able to change everything overnight. We're getting older, and the game is changing like this. It's changing in a heartbeat. So
And
I
I
think
want to
what
add
you're
this
doing,
too.
I
Sorry.
think, all right. I think what you doing, Ron. I think what you doing, Jamela,
Mm-hmm.
voice. Even what we doing in Brevo with the basketball teams, and
Yes.
we having a lot of problems getting gyms. So we know that, right? So you already know that. You don't even gotta. We never even talked about that. And these are some of the problems that's going on. But I think if we stay on it and keep fighting for change, we'll be able to help some of these kids, and some of these kids will be able to help others in the future, right? Hold on, before you go, Jamala, I want to make sure, Mike, can you hear us now? You good?
Yes. Excuse
Woo!
me
Mike is
Yeah.
here. Yes. Finally,
Mike is back.
for having me.
finally. Go ahead, Jamila, and I'm gonna bring it back to Mike real quick because I know you
Like
want to
I
say
just
something.
wanted to kind of like, piggyback what you guys are saying. We really it goes back to right funding. Rashid said it. We all know it. We have non for profits or organizations that we want to fund. The problem is we also have to build a new political party, and that's no Republicans, no Democrats, our own party. Because what's happening is the same people are getting elected, and the same people are allocating the same dollars to the same 501c3s that are not working. The betterment of our community is in danger, and is in danger by first, like Rashid said, and everyone else said on the line, the leadership from the top. That's from the politics to the community leaders down to our neighbors, because our elders don't have the same care that they used to have for our young people. And how we change that is by telling them it's time to reallocate those dollars to the people that are actually doing the work. You deserve a gym. The voice deserves an office where he can have these kids coming in. Rashid deserves a building. I deserve one. And why do we deserve it? Because we're putting the people first. And again, you can go to many of these places and see empty. Nobody's in there, but they're receiving the funding as if it's impressive because they're all friends of friends. So it's just like the drug game, it's like the rap game. There's gatekeepers, and we have to knock those gates down by strategic partnerships. We get together, we create our own new, and creating our own new helps us create the type of communities that we want to see. And that's us flourishing the way we should. And it starts right here on this call. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for allowing me the space and opportunity to speak, but also learn from everyone on this call. So I truly appreciate it.
No doubt, because you get a building, you get a gym,
That's
you get an
right.
office, you get an office, you get a gym. That's how it
I
go,
like that.
baby. Hey, Mike.
Yes.
So glad we got you on. We got to hear some of your words early on before you got cut off.
Yeah.
You're on the stage now, brother. I know you see a lot of this in Coney Island. I know a lot of kids look up to you. I see you always at the game, support the kids. I saw you last night, right?
Yes.
So we outside
Yes.
at the end of the day, right? So go ahead, man. You're on the stage, brother. Go
Thank
ahead.
you so much, Pooh, for having me, and it's a pleasure meeting you all. And I just wanted to I text you last night, Pooh, and I says, listen, let's kind of put some awareness on this thing here for this young man. So I wanted to say God bless Nene. I want to say God bless his mother, his father, and his family, teammates, and coaches. It hit kind of close to home because I have 3 sons, and they all in the same age range as the young brother. And actually, one of my sons actually played with him during AAU with the Jayhawks. And it just hit home. It's sad. It's sad, that we got so much hatred towards one another. It has to be more outlets for these kids. We're a basketball community, so this is a basketball forum that we are on, but it's a lot of kids that don't play basketball.
It's a fact.
Right? So how can we get to those kids that's not playing basketball, that's not in where we at, It's those are the forgotten kids. So, me, I don't know about having no office or anything like that. But like you said, Pooh, we outside, and outside is my office. Like I said, I'm coming in contact with young men, young women, each and every day. I have an older son that's doing 13 years to life right now behind the walls, speaking to him. I have a friend that's on his way coming home from doing 25 years. I have another friend that's in Sing Sing Correctional Facility. So I'm on the phone, and I just want to let these kids know it's not nice on that side. It's nice on that side. Having to stay in the cell for 23 hours a day. Um, you know, um, Having to ask when to take a shower. Things of that nature. Guys are on some drug called K2. You hearing these guys screaming in the background, losing their minds. This is the thing that these kids are, they're not getting that from the rap industry. They're not glorifying those things like that. You got a little scared straight programs and things of that nature, but they're not really getting the point of this flip side of this coin, because there's only two ways out: death or jail. And I just want to commend that young brother, because I wouldn't call him a victim. I want to call him a survivor, because I hear his words. That's a survivor,
Absolutely.
Like I said, Pooh, I text you last night, I'm a survivor of gun violence. God spare my life. God spare my life. I could have been gone. I could have been gone, and kind of, it was like a same type situation. I don't know. It wasn't for me. I didn't see anything. And it just came. So, it hit home with me as well with that too. And it's tough, and that's why I wanted us to rally around him. I wanted him to see the basketball community, that we love him. He's not alone. His family, they're not alone. We're with them, and because he's going to need a lot of this motivation right now. It's early on. This kid was just up Sunday running and playing basketball, and now they saying like he can't walk anymore. That's mind-boggling. That's mind-boggling. I was laying down in here for 2 months. My stomach was messed up, but I was able to move around, in pain. But to not be able to walk again, that's really traumatizing. And to be so young and so vibrant at such age, 16 years old, and like the brother said, that basketball terminology we had, the basketball players used to have that pass, it kind of went out the window now. And social media doesn't do it any good. We use social media obviously for positive, right? We got basketball heads. We're promoting past, present, and future basketball players, and we just we saluting. But a lot of other people, they don't use these outlets for what we use the outlets for. They use it for beefing with one another, spewing all type of hatred and all of these things. So I say, being a co-parent, I co-parent with my kid's mother. I have my oldest son. He stays with me now, 16 years old. Like I said, they're all in the same age range. So I parents, be strong, be assertive, be nosy, because a lot of times, like, it seems like these parents start to become afraid of their kids.
Yep.
And so I predicate on, listen, I'm gonna put my foot down. You're gonna hear me, you're gonna hear their mother, and co-parenting, it has to be like one common goal. One common goal is for that kid to succeed at the highest level, in life. And I've been, like certain things that I put in front of my kids on YouTube. It's a guy by the name of Hassan King. He has these slogans like, don't get your snot box rocked, don't get your TV turned off, pay attention to your circle before they hurt you. So these was the things that I've been showing my sons ever since they was little. And this is a positive guy on YouTube that's just bringing awareness to violence and things of that nature. So it's what you put into your kid's life. But at the same time, like this little brother, he was just coming from somewhere. It wasn't meant for him.
Yep.
So like, is, you know, we doing everything we can as parents, but wrong time, wrong place. You
Yep.
know, and you know, like I said before, I just want to you know, I just want to pray for him. I just want to send strength and love to him, and I want his family and them to see that we care about him and we love them and we here to show support and most importantly lend our strength to him. And I would love for all the young hoopers and NYC and beyond that watch basketball, look at this Basketball Heads podcast, past and present ball players, say a prayer for that young brother and his family, because they definitely going to need these prayers going down, you know, as time go on. It's the beginning of the basketball season. You
Yeah.
know, you think we could, you know, things become distant, you know, and we just don't want to make him feel like he's left out and we forgot him. So that's why I reached out to you, Pooh. You know, just to spread some awareness and let the little young brother know that the circuit, this New York City basketball, we stand behind you, we here for you, and we love you, you know, because it could have been, it can be anybody, you know, it could be anybody.
Yeah.
It's the saying, a bullet don't have no name, you
Yeah.
know. So
Well,
we have,
listen, we got. I didn't mean to cut you off, but we got A Richards. He's on Instagram right now. A Richards 279 said we are here in Far Rockaway. All got. He said all got Nene and his family through this. He said
yes,
we appreciate all the support and love.
yes. And I got family out there in
Team Crate in the building. All my people at Team Crate, we appreciate you guys.
Yes, Team Craig. Yes, like I said, I got family out there in Far Rockaway. You know, grew up in Edgewood.
Jayhawks as well, because Jayhawks pulled
Yes,
up and they said, "Listen, PSL, make some T-shirts.
that's
You know,
right.
put the guns down,
That's right.
and let's promote that. Let's show that not only that the basketball family, but the league that he played for is behind him as well."
Yes, and that's a beautiful thing that we can come together on one common cause, and maybe we can save somebody else. We can save some more lives, you know, because it's a constant fight. You know, we can have a whole bunch of solutions and come up with all these things, but you know, we just gotta. It's a constant fight every day to protect our babies out here on these streets, man. And it's real. Like I said, I got 3 young black males. I
Yep.
love my heart. I pray for them. I teach them. I stress them to have great grades in school. But like this kid, he was playing basketball. He was doing all these things I'm saying, right? You
Yep.
know,
Just going to the bus.
just going to the bus and traveling and trying to get home, you know, and it's sad, you know, it's sad. Like I said, I can't stop saying that. I want to just pray for him. Pooh, thank you for having me on.
No doubt, my brother.
My whole neighborhood is behind him. We praying for him, you know. My family is praying for him. And like I said, if it's anything, like if we could, you know, we could pull up Pool anytime. Just let me know what we can do, you know, going forward with this situation. And like, let's just spread this awareness and let's just prevent this from happening to any more of our babies.
And this is why I wanted to bring on Jamila and Rashid, because you know it's people right here that's on the front lines of this every day fighting this good fight. And you know, Rashid's not only battling our neighborhoods, he's battling with the police, not in like a physical way, but challenging them to kind of, you know, help our kids and the court systems and the prisons and the jail systems.
It's
so
rough. It's rough.
We can all talk about what we want to do, but we don't come up with no solutions. Then what are we talking for? You know what I'm saying?
And we want to like I have this here. I got community driving program. This is my brother Sean Hodges. He runs the community driving program out here in Coney Island, and so he's helping young individuals get their license, and that's really important coming from our community. You know, growing up, I learned how to drive a car, and I didn't even have my license. So that's what I told my brother. I said this program is so important. Because just that, you know, we learn different coming up in the community. We learn how to drive, and you don't even have your goddamn permit or anything like that. So we want to come up with things that's going to really serve and help these kids, because you can get a whole bunch of jobs with your driver's license, right? You can be Uber driver. You can do a lot. You know, it's ambulance service. You know, it's a lot that you can do with your license. So we want to come up with these things to whereas we can help these kids. We want to get some of them in trade schools. College is not for everybody. You know, trade schools are really the way to go for a lot of these young men if they like, and young women, excuse me. Trade schools is really good. You know, go be a tradesman, get a trade, and you know, make good money for yourself. And that's what it is, man. You know, that's what it is, and live a great life.
You know what's so crazy, right? Me being an educator, and I'm not gonna sit up here and because trust me, you know, I know a lot of people who see me and be like, you know, he know a lot about history of basketball. I used to teach history for a lot of years, bro.
Right.
And not only being in the education system for like 30 years, like all together with all the schools that I taught at, I'm very well read, right? And people don't understand there's 8 styles of teaching, right? And of course, there probably will be more. But when we learn, I got my master's, they let you know, right? It's 8 different teaching styles, or learning styles, right? Most of our kids, 99.9% of them, you know how they learn? Sitting behind the desk. Got to stay, you know, focused on what the teacher's telling them, learning how to remember things, right? Driving, that's tactile, that's kinesthetic, right? Learning, that's touching things and being able to build, being a worksman. And, you know, kids is fidgeting and they touching things because we got to kind of gear their education to each individual child. But that costs too much, and that's too much work. So everybody gets taught the same, even in those single desks, right? You get those desks that got the right arm. You know those desks, right? They got there like a curved desk. You sit in them.
Yep.
They're mostly made for right-handed kids.
Yes.
So what brain you think the kids is learning from? Everybody.
Yeah. It's
right.
Well, that's why there needs to be a reinvestment. Look at the military industrial complex. How much money goes to that, right? USAID, those. How much money is being found? There has to be an intention to want to educate and uplift these young people. So within the, you know, we dealing with an administration right now that wants to end the Department of Education. You know, you're gonna have some people upset with it and some people not. My thing is, it's about solutions. If the Department of Education is not helping these kids, then give us the money so we can help our kids. Cool, right? It's still gonna be based on what individuals do on a grassroots level. Like, you can never beat the streets, right? You can never beat the individuals directly in proximity to the situations, individuals, and circumstances they're going through. We're the ones that have the understanding, the cultural competency, and truly know the solutions that should be offered to our community. So it should be more of an investment, but America is built in a bureaucracy. It's a system. You know, it takes money to do the right thing to help people. So give individuals that stepping up the bread. That's why it bothers me when you see so many men. Like, this is, you know, outside of Jamila, this is a bunch of men on a conversation discussing a young brother that got shot after he dapped the young brother and was approached by 3 other young brothers. So there is an epidemic, right? This whole new wave of black male studies going on. Let's really start talking about the impacts of how isolating, separating, and excluding black men, black boys, young black kids, especially the males, has now allowed this generation to grow up on a different level of demon time, collecting souls, right, left to their own devices, not enough righteousness in the Most High involved, and truly not enough men given the needed resources to hit the ground. If all of us wanted to create a program and say, yo, all it takes is to get some pizza to get these kids in the building, we would have to come up with our own bread, right? Yeah. Which is cool. But it's taxpayer money that's going to all of this other crazy stuff. Why can't we get the system that's supposed to be for its citizens or for its people or for community to give us the leverage that is needed? And then if it's not, then I don't want politicians coming around telling me to vote for them. I don't want to deal with none of this stuff that deals with the political apparatus if you're not going to use the dollars that are generated to give it to us so we can solve the problems of our community. Outside of that, you just using politics and trauma and knowing how to pitch a story and propaganda and a media machine to really have individuals indoctrinated that you're solving a problem, and you're not.
This is what I said. We need small pockets.
Yeah, small pockets.
Right? These islands of excellence. Because, again, I know about the system. The system is not here to help us.
No,
Trust me.
It's against
Trust me. It's against us. It's against us. When I graduated from school and from college in 1992, like, first of all,
But no.
hold on,
Let
let me just go. I'm gonna be real, like, brother. You know my brother Six,
Yes, of course.
right?
Got our big 6, 23.
Right? Six and Slice,
Yes,
right?
sir.
And me and Slice, we talked about this. All of us play ball, right?
Yep.
Tiny was my point guard. That's
Yep.
Slice brother, and
Yep.
Six was my brother.
Yep.
Slice played ball. Got introduced to the streets. My brother played ball, but didn't make the team. But we all went our separate ways. 2 of us played basketball, 2 of us in the streets.
Yes.
I couldn't believe at 18, 19 years old, and I could talk about this because statute of limitations and
So
already passed, that 18, 19-year-old kids was having that much keys and cocaine.
and,
I couldn't believe it.
and
But I was in college learning about the Iran-Contra scandal
Yep.
and didn't make the connection.
yeah.
I was like, holy, what the, how y'all get, where is this coming from? My brother don't own a damn plane.
And if you go to that show Snowfall, if you ever watch Snowfall in depth, it touches on a lot of that stuff there.
Right, so we already know that. So we can keep saying the system. My thing is, what can we do as men and women, right, to collaborate to help these small pockets of kids? Because,
we got to tell them that it's going to be more than a trade job. Like, let's be honest. We're on a live right now talking about how the system is not for us. Like let's kind of slow and walk that slow. We are saying that the system is not working. So what are these kids supposed to buy into? The American dream is a scam. Like so at some point, that history that you said that you have, we got to teach them the history of the Black Panther Party. We got to teach them the history of Black people during Jim Crow. We got to teach them the history of the different Black towns that we had across this nation prior to them being bombed. If the idea is we're emotionally mature enough as adults to know that the system isn't working or isn't for us, and we know that don't mean that's a green light to go outside and start wilding.
Right.
These kids is gonna accept that and say, well, if the system ain't for us, fuck the system, fuck this, fuck that. I'm on demon time. I'm turning up. I'm gonna get it how I get it. Why?
I'm just talking about being self-sufficient.
We have
Self-sufficient, similar to what the Black Panthers was doing.
So
we have
You get what I'm saying?
we have some adults that's still acting like kids. Like for instance, last night, Pooh, we were at the game in RC, Pooh. I don't mean to put the guy on blast, but brother, if
My godson, it was actually my godson.
You know,
Trust me, I know the situation close to it.
we want to handle those things different. We don't want to challenge the young brothers. We want to be there for them. We don't want to challenge them. We want to be there for them. We want to uplift one another. So I know the brother, if he could do that over here, do that all over. But let's not do that, especially when we come into basketball games to support the young Black brothers. We don't want to have those, because it's not about us when we go to those games. It's about those kids that's playing on the basketball court. So we got to be careful with that too as adults when we go into these games and we having our own personal feelings. And like me, I'm a parent, so we have to be mindful of going into these buildings and what we got going on in the course of our day, because we're going around kids and we don't want kids seeing that type of energy, because that then it's saying like, okay, it's okay for them to do it. So as adults, we want to kind of watch ourselves when we going in these buildings and watching these basketball games.
You're right, and I'm not combating you or debating you in what I'm saying. It's just, we have to see the other side of it, right? And of course, we got to work with the system, because I'm in the system, working with the system inside being the spook that left, that sat by the door, changing lives, right? Knowing that I'm in the system that's kind of working towards the detriment of our kids.
Right, because it's the prison, school to prison pipeline system, all of that.
And it goes even deeper than that, because I work for, I'm in a special education.
Yeah, definitely.
System.
We know what that's about, yeah.
Right, so trust me, it's deeper than that. It's deeper, but again, small pockets, which you mentioned, the Black Panthers was doing and making change and being self-sufficient without the help of the system and
Right.
doing it in small pockets.
Yeah, well,
Right.
we
Right.
don't got to be a savage on our pursuit of happiness, right? That's what my dad tells me. So it's not to excuse any sort of violence. Like, we shouldn't be out here being so vicious to each other when we all broken, poor, and in poverty, trying to find ways out of the system or to make it within.
I don't.
Either way, right?
Correct.
It's but to me, it's also, let's be honest and be real about what we're experiencing and talk to these young people, because their bubble is no more. They have access to internet, YouTube, conspiracy videos, TikTok, all this. So they're going to be spun any which way that could either lift them up or pull them down, make them be on angel time or demon time, make them want to be a YouTuber or a scam or a drill rapper, because they have access to so much. And us as adults, if we are not being responsible to create a safe space for them to kind of go through their own maturation, to kind of figure where they want to go, then how are we protecting and creating safe space if we know that the system is rigged, but we're not creating a new system, right? Well, if we know the system is rigged, what are we doing as adults, especially in New York, that are making a better cohesive environment for these young people that is not reliant on grant money from elected officials, right? That's not reliant on the police relationships, because we know that they're not, some areas may not be for us. It still is going to come back to us maturing the relationship and the opportunities for these young kids to say, oh, yo, I want to do it like coaching them, because Big Head, they doing it that way, and that has a proven model of success. We always go back to the Black Panthers 60 years ago, because it was a proven model that only was prevented or stopped because of COINTELPRO. But it's a model that works. So we always romanticize that as if it will ever work then, let it work now. But now we got to fight through the...
But that's my whole point. That's my whole point. Mm-hmm. That's just my whole thing, right? Mm-hmm. Again, how can we collaborate and help each other? Because, again, if you still fighting for a building, I'm still fighting for a gym, right? Jamila's still fighting for office space. How do we collaborate, right? To show kids that we can collaborate on this level to help them and create, an island of excellence for them.
I agree. Church on that one.
Yeah. Yo, listen, we could be on here all night long. Yo, Rod, I'm gonna bring you back on, and we're gonna do a basketball head special, right? We're gonna talk basketball.
Heavy.
We're gonna talk basketball,
Heavy.
and we're gonna talk everything. We're gonna let it all hang out. Pause on that. But I think this is dope. We have plans to talk about this weekend was going down up in the Westchester County Center. Big games is going on. I just want to plug that real quick because they take care.
St. Francis D1 too. Let them know that.
Yo, chill out, man. I play for Fairleigh Dickinson, fam. Come on, man.
Well, that's where I got my program at. So
there you go. There you go.
D1 if you go to St. Francis.
Well, my mom first saw me play when I was in college at St. Francis.
Wow.
And I hit, she was sitting right in the front row. I hit a three and I went by and gave her a high five. That was like a moment I'll never forget. And that was the first time and only time she ever saw me play.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? But this weekend, we got the William F. Plunkett Jr. Christmas Classic at the Westchester County Center being put on by Archbishop Stepinac, Eagle Bronx versus Christ the King at 12 o'clock.
Nice.
Eagle Brooklyn versus Cardinal Hayes at 1:45.
Dylan Leon.
That's right. Brandeis playing Eye on the Prep at 3:30, and Thomas Jefferson versus Stepinac at 5:15.
Oh, spooky hours.
The big game, baby.
Crazy game. But, and wrapping all this stuff up, man, I'm gonna go around the board and everybody could, give their last words. Again, I want to send our prayers to the family. Young fella, man, if you're watching this, man, we love you, man.
Yes,
You're
sir.
a strong, courageous brother. You are one strong, courageous brother, man. Trust me. I see it in your eyes. I can read it in your words. You're going to inspire a lot of people. You inspired us. So stay strong, speed of recovery, and I'm gonna pass it around the room. Brian, you go first.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Pooh. I think obviously, I'd love to involve the young man in any way in our All Star game in the summer. I'd love to potentially get him involved in that. I just want to thank everyone that was involved today. Definitely gonna be praying for him. And Rashid, if there's any way we could help get you into any other schools, me and Pooh have a lot of schools that follow us to talk to us, and we're connected to athletic directors and coaches. Maybe there's a way that we could help you get open some doors to some other colleges. That'd be great for us to help you on your journey. And Mike, thanks for coming on.
Yes.
Um, and our girl all the way from Puerto Rico, man, that was awesome. Just thank you guys so much for everything you do, and just so much education I learned tonight. And hopefully we could kind of take our platform and get it to the next level. And you guys brought up so many great points. So thank you so much for everything.
Mike.
Yes. Again, I just want to pray. I went over and grabbed the Quran for you, little Nene. You hear me? Allah is God and Muhammad is the last prophet. May peace and blessings be upon them. And Allah is the doctors of all doctors. And he's going to have the last say so. And you stay strong and you keep God, Allah first. And you're going to come out on top, young brother. I love you. And may Allah be with you and your family.
Powerful, brother. Ra?
Man, as a former basketball player, I'm thankful that you're still alive, beloved. All praise to the Most High God for that. God got his hands on you for real. And taking that one on the chin like you did is courageous. I pray that all these little homies see that and know that they can always find a way to turn the other cheek, that the fact that they still have life means that they still have opportunities. It's not worth looking to retaliate to throw yourself further deeper than what you already in, unfortunately. So, it's love to his family, love to him. And it's also love to all of the young kids out here that's battling, that's going through stuff that may not have leadership, to the victims, to the shooters, to making sure that we all try to find a way to reach out and unnormalize this senseless violence that's happening amongst our generation of kids, and let them know that we care about them, right? We got, I went to a school and, almost linked on them to give y'all an opportunity. And I'm sure that, there's people just like me, guys on this line right now who do the same, will move a mountain, to get you guys an opportunity so you can get away from violence and away from chaos and get into some warm arms, some hands, some community, some people that love you. So, I just, want these young guys out here to know, and young ladies, because they be riding with them too, that we love y'all, man, and we're gonna find ways to make New York City better for our youth. And I think that should be like a coalition call to action. How can we make this city better and safer? Not for everyone. I mean, for everyone, but also specifically for our youth, because there's a lot of violence happening there.
Well said, gentlemen. Well said, man. I want to thank everybody tonight who came on. Rashid Littlejohn, Mike Washington, Jamila Rose. We High School Basketball Weekly, man. This is the podcast that connects to all the high school players in the city. And we want to let y'all know, man, we here, we got y'all back, man. And stay strong, stay focused. And again, he's a kid that was doing the right thing. So just keep doing the right thing.
And thank you, Pooh. Thank you, Pooh, for for New York City basketball, past and present, Pooh. Thank you for what you do, and thank you for bringing this awareness and jumping right on this thing here. It was a very topic, and I think only you and your podcast, touched on this the correct way. So I want to say thank you a lot from my heart, and God bless you.
No doubt. Appreciate you, fellas. All right, man. Yo, I'm gonna see you, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see you. Yo, Ra, let's make that happen, man.
I'm right there in Bushwick. I'm literally across the tracks. I'm right there.
So we're gonna make that happen, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right?
All right, y'all.
No
Be
doubt.
blessed.
All right.
Man, what a powerful show, man. Only you could have run it. You got 3 amazing guests. I was just happy to be a part of it and learn, man. Prayers are with our guy. Like I said, I'd love to have him a part of our All-Star game in the summer. Hopefully we can get that done.
Yeah, hopefully, he make that speedy recovery, man. We've seen so many miracles happen throughout our lifetime, man, and hopefully he'll be another miracle. Want to say again, we support and send prayers out to the family and young man. We also want to say we love you. New York City's behind you. Basketball heads behind you. High school basketball weeklies behind you. You know, we got your back.
No doubt. Shout out to everyone at Far Rock, baby. We're thinking about you.
No doubt. Far Rock, holla, holla. Hey, PSCL, man. Let's make that happen. Hope y'all hear this. Let's get some T-shirts made, man. I know y'all kind of stay away from the politics or whatever, but we can get some T-shirts made, man. And, you know, guns down, man.
I like it.
No doubt.
Sunday, baby. I'll see you.
No doubt, no doubt. Sunday, we are at the Westchester County Center for the William F. Plunkett Jr. Christmas Classic, baby.
And the PSAL boys got some revenge to do, man. The Catholic schools got bragging rights. They're ready to hold it down again. Let's see.
All right. Let's go. Before we leave, who you got? Eagle Bronx or Christ the King?
Oh man, I think this is gonna be the best one of the day. I think I'm leaning Eagle BX.
Same here.
Okay.
Same here. What about Eagle Brooklyn Cardinal Hayes?
I'm going Eagle Brooklyn. I'm going Eagle. Back-to-back Eagle to start.
I think I'm gonna do that as well. Brandeis Iona Prep.
I'm going Iona Prep, baby. Let's go.
I'm going Iona Prep.
Me fired up.
I'm going Iona Prep. I'm going with Iona Prep too.
Okay. The last one, man. Are
Jefferson Steppenite.
PSAL winning the day.
Thomas Jefferson or Steppenite? You go first.
Who you got?
Mike said he'll be there. Okay, we gonna put Mike on the line. Mike is answering. This is good. Mike goes Eagle Bronx. Mike goes Eagle Bronx. Eagle Brooklyn.
Yep.
Oh, he goes Brandeis. Oh.
What?
Hey, listen, that may happen, man, but I think, you know, hopefully they can bounce back from that wing.
What about the last one, Mike? Oh!
What? Stepping that.
I'm with you, Mike. I'm going to split.
I'm rocking that too. I'm jacking that.
Wow. So let's see. Mike might come out. It's all about that Iona game, man. That's the swing game.
Yeah. That's the swing game right there, Mike. Mike, if you know Brandeis, you could pull off all four. That would be great.
You never know, man. You never know what's going to happen on a Sunday. And listen, Christ the King may catch those Eagle Bronx sleeping in the morning, man.
Yeah, because now they got their guard situation working, and it may be even kind of a matchup.
Those 2028s from Christ the King are ready to go, man. Aaron Ellis and Skylar Ragu are ready to take on Elijah King and those boys. They're ready.
Yeah, Aaron Ellis got this crazy jump shot. Elijah King, so they kind of match up pretty good.
A lot of guys match up, yeah. And they got a big guy who looks really sharp. Guys are stepping up. It's gonna come down to those little things, little details. So, and I mean, talk about two great coaches, Arbitello and Rose. I mean, it's gonna be an awesome Sunday. I can't wait.
Yeah, listen, it was 4 blowouts this past weekend. At PSAL. Starting off, we had Eagle Brooklyn blown out, Brooklyn Collegiate.
Yep.
Then we had Eagle Bronx blown out Wings.
They had a couple blowouts. They beat somebody else bad too.
Brandeis. They didn't beat them bad, but they beat them. But also Thomas Jefferson blew Boys High by 50. That was crazy. Yep. Then Canarsie blows out South Shore.
Yep.
Crazy.
Blowouts.
Crazy.
But that top of the PSAL is looking strong, man. Let's see.
That's right.
Present
on
Sunday.
Sunday, man. Sunday. Hold on. He said facts, Brian. Facts. DeWitt Clinton. Oh, that's right. They blew out DeWitt Clinton. Good job, Mike. That's right.
Thanks, Mike. I got you, baby. And then we got some Catholic League scores. Obviously, Stepinac lost early. Iona Prep's got a couple wins. Hayes was a tough loss to Nazareth. Nazareth lost a couple games to Oklahoma, but they're hot. They beat their last couple wins. They're heating up. St. Francis Prep, Xaverian, 2 losses in Colorado. Not pretty. They're gonna have to bounce back. Chaminade got crushed by Christ the King by 30. They looked great. Christ the King, Johnny Magnet, triple double. Talked about Ellis. They looked great. Trying to think. I know Xaverian had a win. Salesian has a nice win. St. Joe's by the Sea beat Moore. Last I checked in the A. So
And Stepinac beat Hayes tonight. You know the score? You know the score? What was the score, CK, before we get out of here? Was it a blowout?
This is big. If it's a blowout, this is gonna be bad. We need this
crazy.
Hopefully, CK give us a score.
Yeah, CK, give us the score, CK.
Don't leave me hanging, man. And
That's
listen,
right.
everybody in the city that's loving the fact that they lost. I mean, do your research. They played this team last year. They're a terrific team. They beat them the year before. This team is loaded. It is so funny the amount of calls. Oh my God, Jefferson lost and Stepanek lost. What's going on?
And so what that mean?
Man.
Right. Oh, 83-74.
Okay, listen, that's a nice bounce back for Hayes, considering they only had 40 against Nazareth.
Right.
That's nice to hear. So
and it was a close game. This close game, so they may struggle against Jefferson tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see. If Jefferson pull off that game, listen, they're gonna be bounced right to number 1.
Be going wild if they can.
It is going to be going crazy. And look, we always say prove us wrong, right? Scanlon beat Bishop Lachlan 75-58.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, I'm getting a lot of heat from our boys over at Mount. They want us to come check out some games big time. Getting a lot of messages from those Mount boys. So we may have to go over there, even though Pooh brought it up. That Truman went a little too close, boys. Got to start handling business.
That's right, man. Listen, win some games, we'll be there.
That was a nice dunk by our boy Supreme Hinton, though, man.
He looked good. Gotta give him some love on that one. Listen, keep doing your thing. We're going to be in the building.
Hey, man, we love it. We love it. Send us scores. Try and get us out there. We've been to a couple games. We're going to beat us some more. Excited for Sunday. See you there, baby.
Yeah, look. Hey, you see what happened to Wings when they called? They said, I got to come out and watch them play.
You better bring it, man.
You better bring it. All right? Your team rankings can go down and even the star player. But, hey, I'm just saying what I'm saying. All right?
No, man.
No doubt. Hey, again, speedy recovery. All right?
Yep, prayers for our guy. We'll be thinking about you all year. This season's basically dedicated to our guys' recovery. We're pulling for you. Like I said, definitely want to make them a part of the Basketball Heads family. Speedy recovery. And, this is an important episode, and I really appreciate Pooh and all these people stepping up and getting the word out there because we needed it.
No doubt. New York City needed this, man. And just want to, again, Nana Duncor, you're a strong brother, man. Keep staying strong. We pulling for you. Yo, B, we out of here, baby.
All right, be well, man. See you Sunday. Be safe. Let's get it, baby.
No doubt, no doubt. We will be in the building. My guy, May Hoops, #1 writer. My guy, 5 films, hip-hop, R&B.
Legend.
We'll be in the building. All right? Let's go.
Peace.